Today we're going to talk about the difference between having credentials and having character. My name is Michael Barayev, and I built a sales team of over 150 plus sales guys, and we did it in less than 2.5 years, and we did that with zero money invested. Okay, and now we have a solar company that's growing like crazy. Now, credentials and character. I want you to understand this. I always say this. Titles mean shit. Sorry for my language, but titles don't mean anything. And today we're going to discuss how you as a leader, as a salesperson, as a sales leader, as a business owner, entrepreneur, CEO, whatever it is that you call yourself, how if you walk into the room or if you lead your people with credentials versus leading your people with character. Now, if you want to have a long-term business, I'm telling you from my personal experience, you want to focus on the character stuff. If you want to build a short-term business, get a couple of dollars in, my friend, you can do it with the credential stuff. That's fine as well. But you have to understand that with the credentials, there'll be a lot of pain and suffering after that. With building your teams with character, I guarantee you it's going to last a very, very long time. So what does it mean to have credentials? Well, for example, you walk into the room and you think because of your personal experience in the past that you demand respect because you've done X, Y, and Z in the past. By the way, nobody gives a rip what you've done in the past. They only care about what you're doing today and what you're going to keep doing moving forward, right? You cannot walk into a room expecting and demanding respect because of what you've done in 1978. Nobody gives a shit. So you have to understand that what you do today is exactly what people are going to respect you for. Now, the difference between credentials and character, we'll go through very simple. When you focus on your credentials, it's temporary. Temporary results, but permanent pain. I promise you on that. Okay? On the character side, okay, if you're focused on building your character, leading with character, okay, you'll have permanent results and very little pain. And by the way, everything we're learning here today, I learned from John Maxwell, who has an amazing book on this. I don't know which book it was, but it's an amazing, amazing book that taught me this information. I took like a ton of bricks. I was like, wow, I cannot look at my life as credential. I got to look at my life with character. I got to build my relationships with people with this character mindset versus the credential mindset, right? Titles versus character. That's the mindset, okay? Next, when you lead from your credentials, right, what happens is you are leading people because it's your right. They have to follow you because it's your right. They have to listen to you because they have to. It's the right? The challenge with that is that nobody wants to listen to someone like that because people don't care about what you know. They only care about how much you care about them first. And on the character side, it's not about being right and it's not about doing the right thing or you demand respect. It's about responsibility. It's a different mindset. It's a flip of a mindset. You're more focused on it's your responsibility to lead, not your right to be the leader. It's your responsibility. You step up. If you look at Moses in the Torah, and I'm Jewish, so it's, the Torah, it talks about how Moses was afraid. He's like, why, God, why did you choose me to take the people out of Egypt to Israel? And he already understood that he was very humble because he knew, like, why did God choose me? And God was a little bit upset. I was like, hey, you need to go out there and take responsibility. Like, you should be the leader. He never saw himself as having the rightful owner or rightful mindset of being the leader. He took it as a responsibility. And when he took the responsibility, he led the people through a crazy journey. 40 years in the wilderness, all this nonsense, all this craziness, and eventually they had the promised land, right? But you got to understand, you got to lead with responsibility. It's your responsibility and your duty to lead the people, and that's what character is about, not that it's your right. Okay, next. When you focus on your title, it only adds value to one person, you. And it's a very selfish way of doing business. When you focus on leading people with your character, you're adding value to many people. So which one do you want to be? Do you want to add value to just yourself or do you want to add value to everyone around you? That's the mindset shift you need to have, right? And by the way, it's not easy. Because a lot of us, when we become a CEO, manager, whatever those titles are, we start walking in there like thinking we're the shit. In reality, you need to humble yourself, right? Next, when you talk about credentials, it's always about what you've accomplished in the past. I did this, I did that, I made this, I made that, I did this, I did that. There's nothing wrong with talking about your past accomplishments. We're not saying you cannot talk about the successes you created, but it cannot be the only thing you talk about. It cannot be the only thing that kind of motivates you to talk about your successes in today and the future, right? Because in the character level of building relationships and building your teams, you got to talk about the legacy for the future. And that's what it's about. See, character focuses on today and the future. When you're talking through your titles, you're talking about the past accomplishments. Does that make sense? Nobody cares about that. So very, very important not to get stuck in talking about what you've done in the past, but talk about what you're going to be doing for the future. Build a legacy because that's where true character is about. Next, if you try to lead people with credentials and your titles, usually it invokes jealousy in other people. Because it's like you're the only person on top, so to say, and now you're creating jealousy and envious, and people are envious of you. If you have anyone around you that's envious or jealous, it's because you're probably leading them with credentials, and now leading them with your heart, not leading them with your character, not leading them with who you are and what you actually can be, right? So with character, it generates respect. They understand who you are and what you're about, and they respect you. They don't have envy of you. They're not jealous of you. They actually love you and respect you because you're a true leader of character. Okay, next. Credentials get you into the door. You may get hired. You may have your own business, whatever it may be. You got into that position. You may get into the door. Problem is, you won't stay there for long because the people will boot you out because they're going to stop listening to you eventually. And that's where character kicks in, because character will keep you in the door. Character will keep you in that position. Character will keep you in that role for a very long time. So my question to you is very simple. Do you want to be leading with credentials and your titles, or would you rather lead with character? And that's a question you have to ask yourself, and you have to sit down and really jot down some information and say, okay, what can I do to be different? Because some of you guys may have a little bit of credentials in your attitude. Some of you guys may have a little bit of character, but how do you kind of shift over to the character side to lead your team and lead your people so that they can actually love you and respect you and build a vision with you? And by the way, guys, it's not easy, right? Everything I teach, everything I talk about, these are things that are challenging to me every single day. These are things that I'm working on and growing to become a better me, because I know that this is the right way to do it, and that's the only way to do it. But when you are aware of that, you can start changing towards that direction. So I love you guys, and I appreciate you guys. If you have anything to say, whether it's negative or positive, do me a favor, drop it in the comments. Like the video, share it with someone that it will inspire and motivate them somehow. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel. We're trying to get to 100K, 1,000+ subs. And I appreciate you, every single one of you that subscribe. I really genuinely appreciate you. And I'll see you guys in the next video.